Divine Rising, and welcome in. Namaste, my love. Welcome in, Divine Rising. Monique Christine here, founder of LotusLifeWithMC.com, the Lotus Life by Monique Christine app, and I just so happen to be your most favorite life and transformation coach, supporting you as you continue to heal, glow, grow, and flow into divine alignment with your highest self. I hope that you are thriving. Welcome, welcome, welcome in. Happy Monday, Booze. We are ready for a brand new week. Are we? I hope so. I'm going to bring my mic just a little closer. All right, hopefully you are ready to rock out. Today we have an action-packed show waiting for you. Let's see, what are we gonna do? We're going to start things off with our daily collective tarot. Then we are going to meet Kamala's VP pick, Tim Waltz. We met JD Vance last week, episode 2, so feel free to catch up on that. And let's see, after we meet Tim, then we're going to talk about bird flu, okay? Because it is happening and it is relevant for you. And then we're gonna talk about your healthier bones, yay! And then we will absorb all of that wonderful information with our beautiful relaxation meditation, okay? So welcome in. I hope that you're thriving. Let's get ready. Let's get right into this. Yes, yes, yes. We are kicking things off with our tarot, our daily collecti. All right. So we're just going to check in to see what the guides have floating around for all of us on this beautiful day. Today is Monday, August 12th, 2024. Yes, it is. It is the final day for the Lionsgate portal energies to be with us. Okay. We are fresh off of a new moon in Leo. And it's been pretty awesome. There's been some pretty awesome things happening. Some pretty amazing breakthroughs happening for people around the community. I'm always available for private readings if that's something that you're interested in. But let's see what's floating around for everyone right now. So guidance for the collective, what do we need to know today as we continue to move things forward? Let me just make sure we are good. Yes, we are. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tapping the screen. If you would like to hang out with us in the main room is over on TikTok. You can use that magical link. If you're not watching on TikTok, use that magical link that I put in the chat, okay? That will give you everything that you need. You're wanting the main button, the main TikTok account, so that you can come into the room with us, okay? All right, 2 more heard. Thank you, Walter, darling heart. Let's see what we are starting things off with today for the collective. Okay, I can dig this. I can get behind this for sure. So we have a solitude. We have coming apart. And we have listening. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? So what are the guides offering us today? Let me turn that down just a little. Well, today, excuse me, today, my darling hearts, let's do that like that, and then we can do that like that. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So today, darling hearts, the guides are offering us some much needed alone time. It is definitely time for us to check in with ourselves. There are some energies, some things that we need to separate from, okay? And we really just need to listen to us. It's time to recalibrate and tune back in. We are still vibing out in Mercury retrograde energy now through September 7, okay? And Mercury retrograde brings about a whole bunch of miscommunications, unforeseen delays, tech issues, out the wazoo. But Mercury retrograde also gives us a beautiful opportunity to practice our patience. Okay? So, it's also a beautiful time to turn within, to check in with you, to see what's going on with you, what's true for you, what's not true for you, what's rocking and rolling in your world. Okie dokie. So, as we go further into this daily collective, we absolutely see here we have the Six of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, Empress, Three of Pentacles, and the Eight of Wands. So today it's about us being seen, heard, and celebrated, staying in that spotlight. Don't hide out, okay? The reason why you want to stay in that spotlight, I see lots of beautiful divine feminine energy here. The reason why you want to stay in that spotlight is because, darling, you've got that Midas touch. Everything that you touch turns to gold. All right? Basking in the glory of all of the abundance that you are creating. But make sure that you are taking a proactive approach while making sure that you are aligned, that you're checked in with your inner world, your thoughts, your emotions, your intuition. Okay? Three of Pentacles is reminding us that teamwork makes the dream work. We don't have to do it all on our own. The biggest thing is that we just need to take action every single day in the direction of what we're moving towards, right? Because the Eight of Wands are like, yo, it's full speed ahead. It's full speed ahead, but what is it that you need to separate from? What is no longer serving you? Now that the dust is settling, we are out of our new moon in Leo. We are closing up the Lionsgate portal. So we're kind of getting back to a state of normalcy. Kids are going back to school. What's next for you? What are you moving towards? What is your heart song telling you? What's on your spirit? Don't tell me that you don't know, because you do know. You may not be giving yourself permission to lean into what you truly desire and deserve, but that doesn't mean that you are unaware. So listen to you, my darlings. All right, because you are always talking to you. I am peeling on my thumb, but that is okay. I'm just gonna get a little bit of lotion here so we can moisturize that right quickity quick. So yes, today for the collective, take some time to check in with you, because there's some energies that you could still stand to release. There's some stuff on your plate that's not in alignment with where you're going, and that's okay. Create some quiet stillness so that you can hear what's true for you. The Solitude card is a 13, 1 for new beginnings, 3 letting you know that you want to trust yourself, trust your guides. Okay, there's some really high level info floating around for you. The 1 and 3 combine to give you a beautiful 4. That 4 lets you know you're on the right path. If you're choosing to create some solo dolo time today, that's the right play. We also have a coming apart. Coming apart is a 46. 4 letting you know you're on the right path. 6 reminding you to shine that light ever so brightly. Even though some energies, people, situations need to go, that doesn't mean that you need to get stuck in the sadness. Let's shift into gratitude, because whatever we get rid of, it creates space. Space for much more aligned energies to come in. Yes? Yes. And let's make sure, let's see. So yes, with that 46, 4 and 6 combined to give you a 10. 10, full cycle, completion, ending a new cycle, beginning a new one. Okay? So out with the old, in with the new. The listening is a 53, 5, honoring change. Change is here. Are you listening to you? 3, are you listening to your guides and your highest self, your intuition? 5 and 3 give you an 8. 8 is for financial abundance. It's time for you to purge energies that are standing in the way of your abundance. Yes? Yes. A lot of times we feel like, oh my God, if I clear anything else out, nothing's going to be left. Sometimes that's what's needed. Don't get lost in the FOMO. Don't get lost in the lack of limitation. Let's get excited for what's coming in. Yes? Yes, my boos. Yes, 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 yes. Let's get excited to listen to ourselves. Let's get excited to move things forward. All right. All right. That is what the guides have for the collective today. If you would like to book yourself a reading, feel free to visit my website, lotuslifewithmc.com. You can, depending on where you're watching, use the link in my bio or the link in the description to sign up. Go through the private services. Cool? All right, boozy boos. We are rocking and rolling here. Let's keep this party going. It is time to shift gears. Oh, yeah. I've been waiting. Y'all been waiting on this one? I hope so. All right, so we've been talking about the election. We're here in the United States of America, the United States of Americas. Okay? And we have ourselves an election coming up. Yes, we most certainly do. Yes, we most certainly do. Oh my goodness. I didn't update my counts. Let's see. So 6. The general election is 86 days from today. The 2024 general election in the United States is 86 days from today. All right. But there's a lot happening because the first absentee and mail-in ballots, they get sent out. Let me see. 30, 25, 26 days from today. Holy moly. 25 days from today. Yeah, those first mail-in ballots, absentee and mail-in ballots, they go out 25 days from today. And early voting starts 35 days from today. Can you believe it? So make sure that you check your voter registration status. Okie dokie. Apply for your vote by mail or absentee ballots ASAP. And make sure that you check with your state, especially if you just moved. You need to check to see, can you vote where you moved to, or do you need to vote where you moved from? Okay, so visit vote.org, vote.org to see what you need to know about voting where you live, or maybe where you just moved from. All right, so let's keep this party going. Also, make sure that you have created your voting plan and that you talk with your family members and your friends, especially the elder voters that you know, just making sure that everyone has a game plan for voting day. I'm not here to tell you how to vote. I'm here to give you the information that you need so that you can make fully informed decisions, okay? The only thing I ask is that you do make sure that you vote. It takes each and every one of us. Everybody's vote counts, period. All right, cool. So just to recap, who in the world could we possibly be voting for? Well, on the, I guess, the right side of things, the GOP, the Republicans, that would be Donald Trump. He ran against Hillary Clinton and became president in 2016, but then he lost to Joe Biden and Mike Pence as his then, with Mike Pence as Trumpy Dumpies. Then VP. And Trump is again running for re-election, this time alongside J.D. Vance, the junior senator from Ohio. Now, last week, we met J.D. Vance. I shared 55 things that you want to know about J.D. Vance, and I can tell you my viewers were gooped, gagged, and gobsmacked. Today, we are going to meet the VP pick on the other side of things. Now, before we get there, I do want to fact check something. Now, Donald Trump often says that he beat Obama in a presidential race for the White House, but we're just going to clean that up because Obama was a 2-term president, and here in the United States, the limit is 2 terms now for the presidency. And so once you are in your second term, each term is 4 years. Once you're in your second term, you are not eligible to run for president again. Okay, so back when we were voting for our next president in 2016, Obama was not up for re-election. It was not possible. Okay, so there was no point ever where Donald Trump ran against Barack Obama for the presidency. Cool. All right, so on the other side of the aisle, on the left side of things, for the Democrats, we have Kamala Harris running, and she is the current VP, Vice President, to our current president, Joe Biden. And Kamala announced her VP pick last Tuesday, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. So today we are going to meet the Minnesota Governor, Tim Walz. I have 55 things that you want to know about him. So let's tune in. Let's perk these ears up and let's make it do what it do. Now, this really shouldn't be relevant, but I think that it is. Kamala is currently 59 years young. She will be 60 in the beginning of October of this year. Okay? And thank you for sharing the live. For those of you hanging out in the TikTok room, I appreciate you. Thank you for tapping that screen. Thank you for all of your blessings, your gifts, all those wonderful things. And most importantly, thank you for being here. If you are watching on YouTube or Twitch, use that magical link in the chat. Come join us over on TikTok, okay? That's where the conversation is happening. Our subs can chime in. Would love to hear from you and, be a part of the conversation. All right, cool. So, yes, Kamala will be 60 in October, and Governor Tim Walz, soon to be Vice President of these United States, is 60. Okay? So, love that. All right. I feel like that's it. Let's get into the 55 things. So here we go. Tim Walz, he, let's see. He's had a 20-year career in politics. He's a former non-commissioned officer in the Army National Guard. He was also a school teacher and a football coach. And he did a lot of other really, truly awesome things. Let's get into it. Yeah. All right. So Walz, he was born in West Point. This is a Nebraska town of just 3,500 people. Okay. But he was raised in an even smaller town called, I may mispronounce this, I believe it's pronounced Butte. Butte. Okay. Walz graduated from Butte High School in 1982. I was born in 1984. I come from a town of 400, 24 kids in a class, 12 cousins, farming, those types of things. That's what he said. He credits his rural upbringing for his values. And I quote, "A town that small had services like that and had a public school with a government teacher that inspired me to be sitting where I'm at today. Those are real stories in small towns." Walz enlisted in the Army National Guard when he was 17 years old. In his state capitol office, he displays hundreds of challenge coins that he's traded and collected for years around the world. That's pretty cool. I love people who collect things. I don't know about you. When my dad was here on Earth doing his thing, he traveled a lot because he worked with musicians. And so he would always collect keychains for me and refrigerator magnets from different places that he went to. So that's really cool. Whether you choose to collect stamps or keychains or fridge magnets or coins or I don't know, whatever. I think it's cool. Keep collecting, okay? Walz's father, a school administrator, passed away from lung cancer when Walz was 19. He said this moment fueled his views on healthcare access. "The last week of my dad's life cost my mom a decade of going back to work to pay off hospital debt. And that's pretty crazy. And a lot of us, we have lost loved ones, and we know that when they are in their final days, weeks, months, the last thing you want to have to worry about is the bills, the hospital bills. And once they have been released from their earthly prisons, and returned back to their truly limitless forms, the last thing that you want to have to deal with is those medical bills. So I think we can all relate to that. Waltz graduated with a social science degree from Chadron State College in 1989. I was 5 at the time. He earned a Master of Science in Educational Leadership from Minnesota State University, Mankato, in 2001. He spent a year teaching in China after college before returning full-time to the Army. He traveled to China with one of the first government-sanctioned groups of American educators to teach in Chinese high schools. Now, fun fact, my baby sister, she spent a summer abroad in China, and I just think it's so freaking cool when you are willing and able to expose yourself to different cultures, different languages, go halfway across the world, or to the other side of the world. I think that's so incredible. I spent time in Guam. That's probably the furthest away from home that I've been. Once by way of Hawaii, the other time by way of Japan. And it's a long flight either way, I can tell you that right now. But there's something so freeing, so liberating about going to other parts of the world where you really don't know anyone and you're exposed to new languages and cultures and foods, and I just think it's so beautiful. I think that's one of the biggest blessings of life, is that there's such a great wide world out there. And so I always champion anyone who is brave enough to leave their proverbial backyard of where they were born and potentially raised, because there's so much that you learn. There's so much that you learn just from being immersed in other cultures that you can't read in books, you know? Something as simple as like the greetings, right? There's a lot that is unsaid. So there's my little reminder to you to make sure that you get out and that you travel as much as possible. And listen, if life is lifing, if you have young children, if you are in the midst of a relaunch of your life and you can't travel right now, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just go ahead and create a vision board and decide where you want to start traveling. Start to see yourself going to these places, and I promise that you'll get there much sooner than you think. Okay? Cool. So, Tim Waltz, after all of that time in China, he still speaks Mandarin Chinese. That's really cool. My son, he will be a 7th grader this year. He was learning Chinese last year. Chinese is hard. It is a hard language to learn, especially if you are coming from a background maybe in the Romance languages like French and Spanish. There's a lot of similarities in those, and then you just switch over to Chinese, and it's pretty hard because you might think that there's not a lot of things that like bridge that gap between English and Chinese, right? But if you are choosing to learn Chinese, or it's something that you've thought about, definitely go for it. Just know that, hey, it's a challenge, but we grow through all the challenges that we go through. Yes, of course we do. All right. Tim Waltz, Kamala's VP pick. We are meeting him. For those of you who are just coming in, welcome, welcome. if you cannot stick around, that's okay. You can catch this replay on YouTube, Twitch, my website, and in my app. All right? So, Tim Waltz, he taught on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. And he was quoted as saying, "I tell folks that managing a high school lunchroom for years trained me for the craziness that can overtake Washington, D.C. Dude, the lunchroom. Madness, right? Always madness." And it's so cool that he also taught on a reservation, because not only has he exposed himself to other countries, other cultures, but other cultures, within our great nation. I think that's so important, right? Absolutely. He rose to the rank of Command Sergeant Major before retiring from the 125th Field Artillery Battalion in 2005. He served for a total of 24 years. Command Sergeant Major. Excellent. Of the National Army Guard. The Army National Guard. Jeezle Pete's. All right, I promise I'm going to get this together. It's Mercury retrograde, so we're just rolling with it. Yes, the Army National Guard. All right. So Waltz, he met his future wife, Gwen Whippy, a native Minnesotan, as they were both high school teachers in temporary classrooms. Substitutes. The first lady said, so his wife, she's the first lady of Minnesota, because he's currently the governor there. The first lady said she was irked by his loud voice disrupting her classroom. Bellow much? The two eventually moved to Mankato, Minnesota, where they both worked at Mankato West High School. Gwen loved living in southern Minnesota. We jumped at the chance to move to Mankato and start our lives together. So Tim Waltz, he taught geography and he coached high school football. I don't know if every high school geography teacher expects to be in this position at some point. That's really cool. Thinking back, you know what? My high school geography teacher, one of them, I think, did he coach football? He might, I don't know if he coached at that school or not, but I'm pretty sure that he was a football coach at some point. So that's pretty cool. Thank your teachers who double as coaches. We appreciate them. Thank you, teachers. Mwah. We love you. So Tim Waltz, he was the faculty advisor for the school's first Gay Straight Alliance chapter in 1999. So what I want to share with you about that, he actually had a student come to him in school and talk about being bullied for being a member of the LGBTQIA plus family. And as a faculty member, he was like, okay, cool, let's go ahead and let's see what I can do to help. But then he also realized what a strong message that would send as the football coach to lead this chapter. And so, yes, the football coach put together the Gay Straight Alliance for that school back then. So how cool. Like, one thing that I have come to understand about Tim Waltz is that he stands up for the little guy. And honestly, in his book, there is no little guy. He is a champion of everyone. And I think that that speaks volumes about his character, for thee sure. All right, so Tim Waltz, who is now 60, he's drawn criticism for appearing older than his age. So he responded to this on X, saying that it's because he, and I quote, supervised the lunchroom for 20 years. You do not leave that job with a full head of hair. Trust me. Yo, think back to when you were in high school and it was lunchtime. Think back to how crazy it was, right? You got to keep the kids in line, make like literally in the lunch line, make sure they're not cutting in line. You got to make sure that like they're not like holding spaces for other people to come into the line, like maybe through another end. You got to make sure that they're sitting in their seats, that they are not sitting on the tables, that they're not throwing food, that, like it's crazy. It's crazy. No matter how many schools I went to, I went to several different schools. I went to private schools, public schools, schools in the suburbs as well. All of the lunchrooms were crazy at lunchtime. Every single one of them. Every single one. Except for maybe back when I was in like kindergarten and first grade. But it was probably crazy back then too. I'm sure it was. All right, so Tim Walz, he has two children, Hope and Gus. Hope recently graduated from college in Montana, and Gus is in public high school in St. Paul, okay, Minnesota. Both children were conceived through IVF and fertility treatments. And the governor, Tim Walz, he's been quoted as saying, "There's a reason we named our daughter Hope." So we know that there's an attack on women in the US. We know that there's an attack on women's reproductive rights that does include the ability to grow or have a family. And one thing that I'm seeing about Tim Walz is what a well-rounded sir to consider for the role of vice president in a country where countless families are grown through IVF and fertility treatments. Countless, millions upon millions of Americans suffer with fertility issues. And I just think it's important to have someone representing you. Because remember, we hire our elected leaders to represent us, to speak for us. How amazing would it be to have someone who has been in the trenches? They know the struggles of fertility treatments, IVF, all the different rounds. And it's not like they were successful their first round. They know how costly it can be. They understand the ups and downs. I just think that that's extremely valuable. Okay. Walz's first job in politics was as a member of former Massachusetts Senator John Kerry's 2004 presidential campaign. The campaign hired him to be campaign's county coordinator, as well as a district coordinator of vets for Kerry. Tim Walz said he was inspired to join Kerry's campaign after he took a group of high school students to a George W. Bush campaign rally, and security interrogated one of his students because he had a Kerry sticker on his wallet. Really? You're going to interrogate the high school kid because they have a Kerry sticker on their wallet? Really? Come on now. Craziness. Complete and utter craziness. All right, let's keep going, y'all. Walz was first elected to Congress in 2006 in one of the biggest House of upsets of the year. The district, home to both the Mayo Clinic and the Hormel meatpacking firm, had twice voted for George W. Bush. They went blue that year, didn't they? He was the highest ranking enlisted soldier ever to serve in the U.S. House, and only the fourth Democrat and Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party member to represent his district. Okay? He grew up on a farm. He understands rural America. He understands the struggles of putting those meals together, paying for your kids to go to school, getting an education. Okay? All the blue collar issues. Yeah. Waltz defeated incumbent Republican Representative Gil Gutnick despite being outspent by close to a $500,000 margin. Wow. So even though he was outspent, he still won. Because money does not maketh man, manners maketh man. Waltz won re-election 5 times in southern Minnesota's mostly rural conservative 1st District, serving in the House for 12 years. Nice. When he arrived in the House, Waltz was elected to share the freshman class presidency with Representative Paul Hodes of New Hampshire. He was named the ranking member of the House Committee on Veterans Affairs in 2017. He focused on issues such as veterans' mental health, self-unalivement, and pain management. He also called for funding to research medical cannabis treatment for veterans struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder and chronic pain. More than half of the bills that Waltz co-sponsored between 2015 and 2017 were introduced by non-Democrats. Nice. So what that tells me right there, he co-sponsored, more than half of the bills that he co-sponsored between 2015 and 2017 were introduced by non-Democrats. So that means that he's willing to work with people across the aisle. He's not just going to do this blind party fealty, like, okay, we're Democrats, we can't work with anyone on the other side. No, and that is part of the toxicity of Washington that people complain about is, okay, like, I get it, you're loyal to the party, but at the end of the day, we need you to be loyal to the country and to be willing to work with people on the other side of the aisle to get things done for the greater good of all. All right? So we love that. We love that. Waltz once earned an A rating from the NRA. Okay, look it up. I'm not going to tell you what that stands for. And the group's endorsement. In 2016, Pew Pews and Ammo magazine included him on its list of top 20 politicians for Pew Pew owners. Okay? So, for people who are concerned with their Second Amendment rights to bear arms, I say that Tim he's a good way to go. He's responsible. He's the best sharpshooter in Congress. Well, he was, because he's not in Congress now. But yeah. Most importantly, it's about being responsible. It's not about taking everyone's pew-pews away. It's how can you be entitled to your pew-pew and everyone else still be safe? And can we have some common sense pew-pew laws around here? Please and thank you. Okay? Now, listen up, because he later denounced the NRA and supported pew-pew control measures such as an assault weapons ban. During his first campaign for governor in 2018, the NRA completely downgraded his rating. I had an A rating from the NRA. Now I get straight Fs, and I sleep just fine. Because now he's like, well, can we just have some common sense control measures? Yeah, we're going to flunk you all the way across the board. Oh, okay, well, at least my conscience is clear. Yeah, that part. Shortly after the fatal Las Vegas mass pew pew thing in 2017, which unalived 59 people, Tim donated campaign contributions from the NRA to a nonprofit that supported the family of military members who were unalived or severely wounded while serving. So I love it. Even though the NRA was donating to him, he's like, listen, I'm going to donate your donations because I don't need the money. He is an avid hunter, and he scoffed at J.D. Vance, Trump's VP pick, for talking about pew pews when, and I quote, I guarantee you he can't pew pheasants like I can. Nice. In 2019, Walz left the House to run for governor of Minnesota. He beat Republican Jeff Johnson by more than 11 points. Walz frequently defends his policies, such as the Universal School Meals Bill, signed into Minnesota law earlier this year, as common sense. What a monster! Kids are eating and having full bellies so they can go learn, and women are making their own healthcare decisions, Walz said jokingly. How beautiful is that? He signed the Universal School Meals Bill into Minnesota law earlier this year so that the babies can eat, so that they can learn on a full stomach. Oh no. What a mean man. All right, now listen. Violence erupted after police unalived George Floyd in Minneapolis, which is in Minnesota, in May of 2020. An incident that led to protests against racism. You have to be so careful how you say things. And police brutality across the nation. Republican lawmakers issued a report later in the year criticizing Walz's administration for not intervening quickly enough to prevent looting and arson. Now, here's what Walz said in response to that. I certainly believe our administration, whether it be the National Guard, the State Patrol, or the DNR, which is the Department of Natural Resources, our frontline folks responded in a noble and heroic manner. They saved lives, he said. A one-sided report coming out right before an election isn't as helpful. But if there is helpful advice in there, I'll certainly take it. Now, in recent weeks, Walz is credited for popularizing the Democratic Party's latest line of attack against the Republican ticket when he called Trump and Vance, and I quote, these really weird people. Because they are really weird. He told Politico in 2023, when we're running against the generic Republican, our races are always really close. But there's no such thing as a generic Republican. These guys are weird. Once they start running, their weirdness shows up, and especially with the nominee on the other side, I don't think it's that surprising. Walz told the New York Times that his comments about weirdness are about Trump and Vance, not Republicans generally. And weird is specific to him. I'm certainly not talking about Republicans. I'm not talking about the people who are at those rallies. I'm hearing this from my Republican friends because the people at those rallies, they're the ones that can most benefit from the message we're delivering. Last year, Barack Obama praised Walz when the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party gained control of the governor's mansion, the state house, and the state Senate. Let's go. Walz first met his Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan when he attended Wellstone Action, founded after the 2002 unalivement of Senator Paul Wellstone, to train progressive organizers, activists, and candidates. I showed up and had a fantastic young trainer who turned out to be Peggy Flanagan. That's when we started our friendship. After Minnesota legalized recreational cannabis last year, Walz appointed a hemp shop owner to be the state's top cannabis regulator. The next day, cannabis entrepreneur Erin Dupree stepped down from the role after the Star Tribune reported she had sold illegal products at her hemp shop and had federal tax liens and judgments against her. Minnesota's nonpartisan government watchdog, the Office of the Legislative Auditor, later found the governor's office missed some standard background check steps before the appointment of Dupree. Okay? Nobody's perfect. In 2023, Waltz was tapped to chair the Democratic Governors Association, responsible for defending and growing the party's share of chief executives in the states. I'm a firm believer now that governors do make a difference. We saw it in Minnesota, we see it in Michigan, we see it in Colorado. We see these trifecta states improving folks' lives. His beverage of choice is Diet Mountain Dew. He got a DWI in Nebraska in 1995 before he quit drinking. Again, no one's perfect. And I don't expect the people that I'm voting for to be perfect. I want them to be real. I want them to care about others. I want them to not be selfish. I want them to learn from their mistakes. Because I know that I learn from my mistakes, right? Okay. Waltz is a runner who has participated in multiple competitions in Minnesota's Twin Cities. He said, I found that even before the most stressful events, if I've gone for a run, I'm calmer and more collected. Noise. He likes to tinker on his vintage blue International Scout, a four-wheel drive vehicle that International Harvester stopped producing in 1980. Okay, sounds like he's a car guy. Cool. He has custom license plates that read 1 as O-N-E. Please bear with me as I navigate Mercury retrograde. I'm a Gemini. My ruling planet is Mercury, so I'm doing my best here. All right, let's try that again. So Tim Waltz, Kamala's VP pick, has custom license plates that read 1MN. The numerical word 1 is spelled out O-N-E and then M-N for Minnesota. Okay, his campaign slogan for his gubernatorial bid when he ran for governor. Okay, 1 Minnesota. Waltz promised his son Gus a dog if he won the governorship in 2019. When the election was called, Gus exclaimed, I get a dog! Waltz kept his promise by adopting Scout, a black lab mix, later in the year. Waltz and Scout make daily morning visits to an off-leash Twin Cities dog park. Super cute. Waltz signed a bill last May expanding voting rights for an estimated 55,000 formerly incarcerated residents. That's a beautiful thing. Waltz has met with the Ukrainian ambassador to the United States to sign a letter of understanding that creates an agricultural partnership between Minnesota and a northern region in Ukraine called Chernihiv. Once we drive the Russians out, we will have some cooperation, Waltz said. It's a really important showing of friendship and a really important showing of ties. In 2023, Waltz signed an executive order protecting access to gender-affirming care. As states across the country move to ban access to gender-affirming care, we want LGBTQ Minnesotans to know they will continue to be safe, protected, and welcome in Minnesota, said Waltz. His tater tot hot dish, the unofficial dish of Minnesota, is 3-time champion of the Minnesota Congressional Delegation Hot Dish Off. He won in 2013, 2014, and 2016. I'm going to have to get the recipe for that. That sounds good. Tater tot hot dish. He is a self-proclaimed sci-fi fantasy guy when it comes to books. I just finished reading the 4-book series Mortal Engines. I read a lot of these young adult ones because I do it with my kids. I was reading that one with Gus, he said in 2019, and then I just finished one I would not suggest reading because it is terrifying. Command and Control. That's the one he would not recommend. It traces the history of America's nuclear arsenal. I understand why now. His favorite song by Bob Dylan is one of Minnesota's most favorite celebrities. His favorite song by Bob Dylan, one of Minnesota's most favorite celebrities, is Forever Young. which contains a timeless message from a dad to his son, according to Waltz. You know who else is really big for living in Minnesota? Prince. Yes. Yes. Prince was living in Minnesota. I know. Tim enjoys the all-you-can-drink milk booth at the Minnesota State Fair, so much so that he volunteered at the booth in 2022. And the final thing that I want to share with you today from 55 things that you want to know about Tim Waltz, Kamala's VP pick. Waltz is a self-described optimist, but when it comes to government, he tries to plan for the worst. I think people should have an expectation of a forward-leaning, anticipatory government, he said as he took office in 2019. A lot of things people write off as accidents or chance is really just poor planning and anticipation. All right, so we did it. There you have it. 55 things that you want to know about Governor Tim Waltz from Minnesota, who Kamala has picked as her running mate for our upcoming election. Okie dokie. All right, boozy boos. We did it. We got through that. Yay, 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 yay. It is now time for some health and wellness news. Exactly. Eternal Life, the Alchemist, is sharing. He sounds like a pretty good guy. I totally agree. He does sound like a pretty good guy. He sounds like a well-rounded guy. One thing that I love that he said when he and Kamala came out last Tuesday, he said, you know, I come from a place where everybody mind your own damn business. Yeah, mind your own damn business. So that's definitely, I'm waiting for that to show up on like all of these campaign bumper stickers because, yeah, I don't know what this whole let's be in everybody else's business thing is, but can we please, everybody, mind your own damn business? Thanks, Tim. All right, so now let's go ahead. Let's shift gears. Let's get into our health and wellness news. All right. Yo, don't get mad at the messenger. I'm here to give you what you need. Okay? All right. So, today, Abriana, thank you so much for tapping that screen. I see you, beautiful light. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody vibing with us on TikTok. If you are hanging out on YouTube or Twitch, why don't you come over to the TikTok room? Use that magical link in the chat, okay, or in the description so that you can join us. All right, that's where all the fun is. And to the TikTok fam jam, to everyone watching, welcome in. You can absolutely check out this replay on my YouTube. My Twitch replays live for 7 days. You can also catch all these replays in my app and on my website. All right, health and wellness news. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Bird flu, baby. Have you been hearing about bird flu, darling hearts? I mentioned bird flu to you a couple months ago, and then I haven't really said too much about it since then. Well, it has not gone away, so I can't say that it's back because it didn't go away. Yowza. All right, so make sure you're staying hydrated, lovey loveys. I am giving you updated info from the CDC as of August 9. Today is August 12. So here we go. As of August 9, the CDC continues to respond to the public health challenge posed by a multi-state outbreak of avian influenza A, also known as bird flu. This outbreak is showing up in dairy cows, poultry, and other animals in the United States. Yes, you heard that right. Bird flu is in the dairy cows. Poultry, birds, and other animals. Sit back. I got a couple of deets to share. Okay. Okay. So the CDC is working in collaboration with the USDA, the US Department of Agriculture, the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, the Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response, ASPR, state public health and animal health officials, and other partners using a One Health approach. Now, since April of 2024, 14 human cases of bird flu have been reported in the United States. 14, 1 4, yes, 14 human cases of bird flu in the US since April 2024. Four of these cases were associated with exposure to sick dairy cows, and nine were associated with exposure to bird flu infected poultry. Okay? Based on the info available at this time, the CDC's current assessment is that the immediate risk to the general public from the current bird flu remains low. I don't know about you. I'm not trying to be number 15 or 16 on that, okay? So, full transparency, in my house, we have been avoiding poultry products as much as possible. I'm going to give you more info so that you can make a fully informed decision for yourself, okay? All right, so on the animal health side, USDA is reporting that 189 dairy cow herds in 13 U.S. states have confirmed cases of bird flu. As the number of infected herds continues to grow, okay? 189 dairy cow herds. That's not just 189 dairy cows in the U.S. That's 189 different dairy cow herds in the U.S. spread out amongst 13 states. Okay? The USDA reports that since April of 2024, there have been bird flu detections in 35 commercial flocks and 21 backyard flocks, for a total of 18.68 million birds affected since April 2024. 35 commercial flocks of birds, 21 backyard flocks of birds, for a total of 18.68 million birds affected with bird flu since April 2024. This is August, okay? April, May, June, July, August. Okay, and it's August 12th, so not even halfway through August yet. In February 2022, the virus began causing sporadic outbreaks of bird flu in backyard and commercial poultry flocks in the U.S., causing serious illness and unalivement in infected chickens. Okay, the number of outbreaks has increased and spread over time, and so as of July 2024, the CDC reported poultry outbreaks in 48 different states as of July 2024. Okay. In addition, there have been sporadic infections in mammals, including bears, bobcats, minks, mountain lions, raccoons, skunks, and others. All of this according to the CDC. Yeah, so the bird flu is not just in the birds. That's what I need you to understand. Okay? So listen up. The first of the 14 reported cases of bird flu in humans in the U.S. was reported in April 2022 in Colorado. A person reported mild symptoms after being exposed to poultry. However, this case may have been a contamination of the nasal passages with the virus as opposed to an actual infection, according to the CDC. Now, more than 2 years later, in 2024, there have been 9 more reported cases involving exposures to poultry presumed to be infected in Colorado. Yowza. So there were 9 outbreaks from the Colorado one alone. Now, as of July of this year, there have been outbreaks in dairy cattle in 13 different states. The CDC reported the first of 4 cow to human transmissions in April 2024 in a dairy worker in Texas. Okay, so Colorado, Texas, that's 2 places. That case was described in a letter to the editor published in the New England Journal of Medicine. In the months that followed, 3 more cases were reported in Michigan and Colorado. So Texas, Michigan, Colorado. 3 of the farm workers infected by cows experienced eye infection symptoms, conjunctivitis, also known as pink eye. That has been associated with previous human bird flu infections. A 4th was reported to have both eye discomfort with a watery discharge from the eye and respiratory symptoms. Okay. Dairy cows are a new and unexpected host of bird flu. And the spread of the virus among cows is a sign that it could mutate in them, making it easier for it to spread to other animals or even potentially humans, according to the CDC. So that's why I said, listen, you make whatever decision you want to make. I'm not trying to be the 15th or the 16th or the 20th case of bird flu, and I would much rather the people in my house not be any of those cases either. So for now, we are steering clear. Okay, but I do have more info for you so that you can go about deciding what you want to do. So the disease appears to be milder in cows, although this could make it more difficult to track. The virus is also infecting other animals, and this definitely sounds like it's mutating to adapt, evolve, and infect new species. So many experts are concerned about the possibility of bird flu infecting pigs at some point, because pigs can be infected with both human and animal flu viruses. And then we have this sort of mixing pot where you get a genetic reassortment of different flu strains. That's really the big long-term concern, and that could take years or decades if it were to even happen. Now, while the risk of bird flu infection is very low for most people in the U.S., people who work with birds or poultry, own them, or have recreational exposure to them are at a higher risk than other people. Anyone who works on a farm in a state that has reported animal infections, where the farmer has identified illness in their animals, should monitor for flu-like symptoms and contact public health officials if any symptoms develop. Okay, here's what you need to know, because you probably freaked out. Oh my God, there's bird flu in the dairy cows and it's spreading. What does that mean for me? Let me get a sip of water and I'll tell you directly. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, has found unalived, they're not active, but it has found unalive bird flu byproducts of the virus. They've been found in cow's milk, beef, dairy cows, as well as cottage cheese, sour cream, powdered milk products sold as toddler formula. Okay? But those cells, they have been found unalive thanks to the pasteurization process of heating liquids to get rid of unalive, the harmful bacteria. So here, pasteurization has helped. We're lactose intolerant. I'm lactose intolerant. My son has a milk allergy, so we drink soy milk anyway, so we don't have to worry about it, but just understand that bird flu is showing up in your cow's milk. Okay? All right. The FDA advises people not to drink, manufacture, or sell raw cow milk and products such as cheeses, ice cream, and yogurt made with raw milk. Raw unpasteurized milk and milk milk products are sold legally in most states. So this is not the time to be getting unpasteurized stuff. Please make sure that all of your milk and milk-based products are pasteurized, okay? Just to be safe. While neither of the two human infections were linked to raw milk, more than half of a resident population of domestic cats on a farm in Texas passed away after they were fed raw, unpasteurized colostrum from bird flu infected cows. So colostrum is that milk that cows and new nursing moms have like in the first few days after giving birth. Okay. It's colostrum before it changes over to milk. So there also is no evidence that anyone in the U.S. has gotten bird flu after eating properly handled and cooked poultry products, but the CDC does note that uncooked poultry and poultry products, like with the red stuff, the BLOOD, may have caused a small number of bird flu infections in people in Southeast Asia. Okay? Poultry and other animal foods should be safe to eat as long as they are prepared properly, according to the CDC. This includes cooking your poultry and eggs to an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit, which can unalive the viruses. The FDA has more info on raw milk on its website. Okay? So people should avoid exposures to sick or unalived animals, including wild birds, poultry, and other domesticated birds, and other wild or domesticated animals, including cows, if possible. People should also avoid exposures to animal poo-poo, the bedding or litter, unpasteurized or raw milk, or materials that have been touched by or close to birds or other animals with suspected or confirmed avian or bird flu, if possible. Okay? People should not drink raw milk. Pasteurization unalives bird flu viruses, and pasteurized milk is safe to drink. If you're still freaking out about the milk, drink soy milk. Soy milk is a beautiful replacement for cow's milk. It's a great source of protein. Almond milk is not a good replacement for cow's milk or even soy milk because it is not a good source of protein. Okay? People who have job-related contact with infected or potentially infected birds or other animals should be aware of the risk of exposure to bird flu viruses, and they should take proper precautions. People should wear appropriate and recommended PPE, personal protective equipment, when exposed to an infected or potentially infected animal. CDC has recommendations for worker PPE and use of PPE. The CDC has interim recommendations for prevention, monitoring, and public health investigations of bird flu in people. Bird flu symptoms, okay, they range from no symptoms to mild flu-like illness to severe illness that requires hospitalization. So you could have none, you could have all of them that land you in the hospital. The dairy worker infected in the U.S. in April reported mild illness, with the main symptom being conjunctivitis, also known as pink eye. Other common symptoms are consistent with influenza or flu, according to the CDC. That's going to be cough, fatigue, fever, headaches, muscle or body aches, runny nose, shortness of breath. If you are choosing to eat eggs, please make sure that you are not eating any runny eggs. This is not the time for runny eggs, okay? Cook them completely. Whether you choose to scramble them, you choose to fry them, hard-boiled is cool as well. Your chicken, you should not be eating raw chicken anyway because salmonella is real. Be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. Okay? So that's what you need to know about bird flu. It is still happening. The numbers are increasing. And so the CDC, they're actually doing a weekly check-in of the numbers. The numbers have increased. There are about 40 new dairy cow herds that are infected this week over last week. So just keep that in mind. The numbers are continuing to grow. We'll keep an eye on it. And if they continue to spike, I'll absolutely come back and talk to you more about bird flu. Whew. Okay, don't freak out about the bird flu. This is so informative. The world's getting wilder by the second. Yes, totally, totally, totally. Welcome in, everybody. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, thank you, Melly Mel. I am feeling better. I took a few days off, y'all. I am blessed to have one of those crazy moon cycles, and it takes me out of the game for a few days. But your girl is back and ready for action. And speaking of back and ready for action, let's talk about bones. Let's talk about your healthier bones, darlings. Bones, bones, bones. How can you help your bones to be healthier? I've got some stuff for you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We're going to talk about these healthier bones, and then we will jump into our meditation so we can let it all sink in for today. Okie dokie. Let me just pull up one more thing. And then we're ready to talk about those healthier bones. Healthier bones. You got them. I got them. We need them. We love them. Healthier bones. Let's get our bones to be nice and healthy. Let's do it to it. You and me. Yes, yes. All right, let's talk about healthier bones. So what you need to know, the number one thing you need to know when it comes to healthier bones, the healthy bones besties, calcium and vitamin D. Calcium and vitamin D. If you got those two, you're winning every single day. And the reason why is because vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium. Okay? Vitamin D, yeah, you can get it for free by hanging out in the sun. But most of us in the northern hemisphere, we don't get enough vitamin D naturally. There's vitamin D supplements. There's things you can eat. I'm going to give you some foods. I got all the goods for you. All right? So you probably want to get something to write with, because I'm going to give you some calcium-rich foods. I'm going to give you some vitamin D-rich foods. I'm going to give you some dietary tips for those healthy bones. And I'm going to give you some lifestyle tips for those healthy bones. All right? So go ahead and grab something to write with, right? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Is this thing on? This thing is on. This thing is on. It's on. It's on. Are we ready to get into it? Of course we are. Let's do it to it. All right, boos. Healthier bones. Your healthier bones could be just a few lifestyle changes away. And the truth is, they are just a few lifestyle changes away. I hope you got something to write with, because I am giving you the goods that you need. So like I said, the number one thing you need to know when it comes to healthier bones is the Healthy Bones Besties. The Healthy Bones Besties, that's going to be calcium and vitamin D. We need calcium. Yes, 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 yes. That is the main thing that is supporting your bones. Vitamin D helps your body to absorb calcium, though. So, calcium and vitamin D, best bones besties. Healthy Bones Besties. We're working it out. Thank you for being my hype man, Melly Mel. I appreciate you. All right, here we go. Let's get into the calcium-rich foods for healthy bones. Ready? Here we go. We got I'm giving you seven of each of the calcium rich and the vitamin D rich. We're going to start with calcium rich. Tofu and edamame. Yes, tofu is super inexpensive in the grocery store. There are levels to the tofu game. If you are brand new to tofu, start with firm or extra firm. Silken tofu, that's going to be like runny eggs. Okay? Super runny eggs. We just finished talking about bird flu, so I don't know if anyone wants to go towards super runny eggs vibes right now. But yes, there are different levels to tofu. The wonderful thing about tofu is it's going to taste like whatever you season it with. It tastes like nothing. It is soybeans and they are ground up and compacted. And typically that tofu is going to come in a sealed container with some water. I do recommend starting with firm or extra firm. You can crumble it up just like you would. Hopefully we're not eating beef, so hopefully it's not ground beef, but maybe like ground turkey. This is a great alternative, especially while bird flu is doing its thing. Okay? And ground turkey, super expensive right now, and even plant-based crumbles, super expensive. So, there is a little somebody flying around in here. So yes, tofu is a great way to go. Again, I recommend starting with firm or extra firm. So you're going to get it in this sealed pack with water, open it, dump out that water, and then you're going to gently squeeze. It's almost like a tofu cake, right? You're going to gently squeeze that between paper towel to get out the rest of the water, and then you can chunk it up. You can dice it, cube it, ground it, like with your fork, however you want to do it. You can even barbecue it. If you're going to grill it, probably go with the extra firm so that it doesn't come off of your skewers, okay? But yes, tofu and edamame, calcium-rich foods. Dairy products, your collard greens, kale, oh kale, yeah kale, broccoli. See, a lot of you didn't know that your leafy greens, your green veggies, were full of calcium. Well, they are. You're welcome. So yes, tofu and edamame, dairy products, collard greens, kale, broccoli, beans and legumes, almonds and almond milk. Cool? So those are the calcium-rich foods for healthy bones. One more time, that's tofu and edamame, dairy products, collard greens, kale, broccoli, beans and legumes, and your almonds and almond milk. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to give you vitamin D rich foods. If you didn't get all those, it's okay. You can watch the replay. The replay will be available immediately after I finish the live over on YouTube. It should also be immediately available on Twitch, and then I will get it uploaded to my app and my website a little later today. All right, so next up are vitamin D rich foods for healthy bones. Remember, vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium. So these are the healthy bones besties, calcium and vitamin D. So your vitamin D rich foods, we have salmon. Oh my gosh, I've been eating all the salmon lately. It's so freaking good. Tuna. Now you got to limit your tuna intake, especially if you're pregnant. Okay? That mercury poisoning is real. So be careful there. Fortified milk and yogurt. And yes, that will include soy milk. Okay? Fortified milk and yogurt, cod liver oil. Ugh. If you've ever had it as a supplement, it's gross, but it's good for you, but it tastes yucky. Beef liver, but around here we steer clear of eating red meat because it does have a direct link to causing cancer. So, lucky for you, egg yolks are also on that list, as are mushrooms. So again, those vitamin D rich foods for you: salmon, tuna, fortified milk and yogurt, cod liver oil, beef liver, egg yolks, and mushrooms. All right, cool. So now I'm going to give you 4 dietary tips for healthy bones. So first up, we're going to talk about your beans and legumes. You want to soak them. Beans and legumes are calcium rich, but they also contain phytates, which are compounds that block calcium absorption. That's not what we want. So one easy way, to reduce the phytate level in beans and legumes is to soak them in water for a few hours and then cook them with fresh water. Okay? So for all of us who remember seeing our grandmommies soaking beans, it most probably was not to get rid of the phytates, but now that's extra encouragement. Make sure you soak your beans for several hours in some water and then cook them with fresh water, and that's going to help get rid of those phytates, okay? All right. Next up, make sure you watch your caffeine intake. Drinking too much coffee, tea, or other caffeinated beverages is a no for your bones. Research shows high caffeine intake reduces calcium absorption. It makes it harder for your body to absorb calcium. The more caffeine you drink, the more calcium you put out when you go number 1. Experts say that it's best to have no more than 400 milligrams of caffeine a day, which is about 4 cups of coffee. But honestly, heart disease is the number 1 unaliver of both men and women, and caffeine puts a massive strain on your cardiovascular system, especially your heart. So I would encourage you to ditch the caffeine. Green tea is naturally caffeinated, so you have to look for decaffeinated green tea. They do make it. It will say it on the box. Decaffeinated green tea. If you are an avid tea lover, like I am, you can switch to herbal teas that are caffeine free. One really great brand is Celestial Seasonings. Celestial Seasonings. They have tons of caffeine free herbal teas. Make sure that it says caffeine free. If it does not say caffeine free on the box of tea, if it doesn't say caffeine free or decaf, there's going to be some caffeine in it. Your black teas are naturally caffeinated, okay? So Celestial Seasonings is a great tea brand that will give you plenty of flavor options without the caffeine, okay? All right, the next tip out of the 4 dietary tips that I want to give you, so this is number 3, do not overdo it on salt. Studies show the more sodium you consume, the more calcium you lose when you go number 1. Wow, you're just letting it all go, huh? We do need some sodium, okay? But most of us, we get far too much. Health experts say to limit your sodium intake to less than 2,300 milligrams per day. That's roughly 1 teaspoon of table salt. That's it for a whole day. Yeah, you don't need more than that. Stop with all the salt, please. One simple way to cut back on sodium is to limit your intake of processed foods. Absolutely right. Processed foods are so high in sodium because they have a lot of preservatives. Okay? That's why processed foods last longer, because they're chock full of preservatives. Those preservatives are full of sodium. All right. And the 4th dietary tip that I want to give you for your healthier bones, make sure you get plenty of protein. Protein makes up about 50% of your bones. Wow, 50%. 50%. 50. Half. Half of the percentage of your bones is coming from protein, yo. And low protein diets are linked with low calcium absorption. So eating protein with each meal and snack is a must. Experts say to aim for at least 0.8 of a gram, so 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Again, experts say to aim for at least 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. I'll let you do the math for that. So good high protein sources include grass-fed meat, wild fish, chicken, turkey, beans and legumes, quinoa, tofu, edamame, Greek yogurt, nuts, and seeds. Don't worry. After we get through our meditation, I'll show you some things in the on-demand library that'll make this a super cinch for you. All right, so those are the 4 dietary tips that I wanted to share with you for healthy bones. And now let's get into the lifestyle tips. But let me see. We can rock with that. Melly Mel just had coffee, but is drinking water behind it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Javaris, the alchemist, is a tea guy. I'm a tea girl. I love tea. Let's just make sure that we are releasing the caffeine, okay? All right, so those lifestyle tips for healthy bones. Number 1, exercise regularly. Exercise, this little guy is aggressive. I don't even know him like that. Exercise doesn't just strengthen your muscles, it strengthens your bones too. Aim for at least 150 minutes of exercise each week. So that's 2.5 hours. The best exercises for bone health are weight-bearing exercise. This would be walking, hiking, dancing, running, jumping rope, stair climbing, tennis, pickleball, basketball, etc. And strength training. This is going to be using weight machines, free weights, your dumbbells, resistance bands, and body weight exercises like push-ups and pull-ups, okay? And don't smoke and limit your alcohol. So tobacco use and heavy drinking are both really bad news for your bones, darlings. Smoking tobacco weakens your bones and increases the risk of osteoporosis. Heavy drinking is linked with decreased bone density as well. So, if you smoke cigarettes, tobacco, consider quitting. And if you drink, please do so in moderation. So that means no more than 1 drink per day for women and 2 drinks per day for men. All right? All right, darling hearts. So that's what I wanted to share with you for the healthy bones. Let's go ahead and let's get into some relaxation. That was crazy. Balloons popped up on this. I thought I saw something pop up on the screen. We had balloons pop up. I don't know how I did it. I never do it intentionally, but it happens. And then we end up with balloons. Was it this one? I don't know what I did. I have no idea. Okay, I don't know. We'll keep playing with it. I tell you what, why don't you come to the after party later today? I'll be live over there. Favorited, the after party. Make sure you are using link in bio or link in the description because it's a great time and all of these gestures are honored over there. So we'll play with those over there. But yeah, if you're digging the vibe and you want to hang out with us, you want to keep the party going, make sure you're connected with us on the after party. Favorited. Link in bio for that. All right, boos. Let's do it. You ready to relax? I think we need to relax. After that one, I feel like it's a good time to relax. Yeah? That was some really great info. We learned a lot about Tim Walz, Kamala's VP running mate pick. We learned a lot about bird flu. Yowza. We learned some things on how you can keep your bones nice and healthy. So let's just take a little relaxation break and get into some meditation. Yes? Yes. Let's do it. Let's do it to it. All right, darling hearts. Today's meditation Let's get into it. There we go. All right. Today's meditation is going to help reduce envy and help you celebrate others. It's Monday. Mondays are associated with the emotions as well as creativity. Mondays are associated with the sacral chakra, Your sacral chakra lives in the area of your hips, and it is home to your emotions as well as your creativity. You cannot separate them. They are forever intertwined, the emotions and the creativity. Envy is one of those emotions that we do not want to experience. We want to be able to celebrate others. When it comes to your manifesting, it's going to be very hard for you to manifest when you are harboring resentments towards others and what they're manifesting. So let's clear out any envious vibes and give ourselves permission to celebrate others so that we can truly welcome in the abundance that is our birthright and is floating around for us at all times. Yes. Yes. All right. Celebratory love. We're gonna try this. Try this meditation practice. Celebratory love. Find a location where you can sit undisturbed. Place your feet flat on the floor and adjust your position and posture until your body feels both alert and open. Lengthen your spine as if it were an antenna. Lift your heart as if you were offering it up as a gift. Again, you will hear my voice followed by periods of silence. In the silence, continue to offer your good wishes. We will begin and end this practice with the sounds of a chime. Take a few slow, deep breaths, bringing your awareness to each as it rises and falls. Set an intention for this session. Perhaps it's to reduce envy or learn how to celebrate the success of others. events, large and small, are abundant in other people's lives. All you need to do is awaken to them. Throughout this session, bring your awareness to your heart region. Notice how your practice affects your body, even your face. Know that the sentiments and sensations you create are more important than the words themselves. Visualize someone who is experiencing good fortune. It could be a big event, like a healthy newborn, or a promotion at work, or small, like enjoying a run or a sense of ease as the day unfolds. Absorb the scope of this person's good fortune. All events, good and bad, fade with time, and all people yearn to be happy. Right now, for this person, that universal wish is coming true. Silently repeat this classic wish for this person from your heart. May your happiness and good fortune continue. May your happiness and good fortune continue. Repeat this ancient wish over and again. With each breath you take, let it infuse and soften your heart and your face. Visualize yourself supporting this person, celebrating this new good fortune, coaxing his or her happiness to linger just a bit longer. May your good fortune continue. As your practice deepens, find out new ways to soften and expand your heart's capacity. Consider the good fortunes of people you don't even know. May your happiness continue. Though you can't make good fortune last forever, you can condition your heart to appreciate other people's blessings and open to them. As you end this meditation, know that you can lovingly celebrate with others anytime you wish. Take a deep breath in Go ahead and wiggle your beautiful fingers and toes, those phalanges. Bring your awareness back to your physical body, back to the present moment. Beautiful, darling hearts, beautiful. So that was our Reduce Envy and Celebrate Others guided meditation. So it is my sincere hope and prayer that you are feeling in a celebratory mood. All right, Melly Mel, love you. Thanks for popping in. All right, and we are back. It's so weird when we leave the echo and come back. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready to go on our little field trip? I feel like we're ready. Are we? What did I do? Did I forget one? I don't think I did. No. We can do this one. All right, let's go on a field trip. I'm going to show you some things in my on-demand library that can support you. Today we are talking about healthier bones, how you can embrace healthier bones. Let me work on this volume just a little bit. All right, there we go. How you can embrace those healthier bones. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screeny poo with you. All right, darlings. So when you come to my website, you will see the on-demand library. Well, actually, let me bring you to the main page. So when you first come to my website, we're going to go to the Flow tab of the menu so that we can visit that on-demand library. Okie dokie. And inside of this here on-demand library, I'm going to show you some resources. So first things first, coming into the brand new section. If you remember when we were talking about those healthy bones, they said that we needed to exercise regularly, we needed to eat lots of good things. So we do have a muscle building recipe bundle here that I absolutely want to point you to. I also want to show you our bone health guide. The Bone Health Guide is going to give the top nutrients, foods, and lifestyle hacks to keep your bones strong. Okay? With regard to that strength training, scrolling on down in the library, you will see Tone and Strengthen. You'll see this collection right here, Slow Bar. Slow Bar is a beautiful way to tone muscles using your body weight, and sometimes we will use free weights. Sometimes we will use those free weights, those dumbbells, but this is one way that you want to keep your body moving. We do also have a pre and post workout nutrition guide. I would absolutely check that out. And we have a strength training fitness guide. This is really, really great. Okay, it's going to give you some different exercises and reps that you can do to get your body moving. Alrighty, so strength training is going to come from the Slow Bar. Also in the on-demand library, you will see our Yin Yoga section. Boop, boop, boop. Yes, so Yin Yoga, what I love about this practice is not only is it a quiet seated practice, it's different from your other types of yoga in that you're not moving in and out of poses every 30 to 60 seconds, or like in a vinyasa practice, you're moving with every in and out breath. You are going to sit or lie down in each individual pose anywhere from 3 to 5.5 minutes. So it really, truly does double as a meditative practice. But that beautiful yin yoga, it will stimulate bone strengthening and thickening because it's going to stimulate production of the osteoclasts, the goodies in your bones that help to make your bones stronger and thicker. Okay? And the yin yoga will also strengthen and detoxify the surrounding and the supporting tissues of your bones to help alleviate stiffness, aches, and pains. Now, yin yoga does need water, just like fiber. Yin yoga needs water to help it work, so make sure that you are consuming as close to that gallon of water per day as possible. Cool? Coolio. All right. Now, you may remember that I shared with you earlier in the stream, I shared some calcium rich foods, 7 calcium rich foods, and 7 vitamin D rich foods. Those are our healthy bones besties, the calcium and the vitamin D. Vitamin D helps your body to absorb calcium much better. Okay? You want to be consuming both. So, we know that we want recipes featuring salmon, tuna, egg yolks, mushrooms, fortified milk and yogurt, tofu and edamame, dairy products, collard greens, kale, broccoli, beans and legumes, almonds, and almond milk. So we're going to scroll up into the library to this section where it says healthy eating without dieting. And you may notice that we have a collection here of recipe bundles. I'm going to click into this and you will see that we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. We have 20 different recipe bundles in here alone. This is more than 1 year's worth of recipes, and it continues to grow. I add a new bundle every single month. Okay, so for this month, I added the muscle building recipe bundle. This would be a great one. This is going to help you build strength and maximize your efforts at the gym. This is great. This is going to support all that exercising that you're doing. It's going to support those healthy bones. Okay. Some other bundles in here that are really, really great specifically for healthy bones. We have the anti-inflammatory smoothies recipe bundle right here. Really great for after workouts. Okay. And most of I'm going to dare say all of our recipe bundles have at least one smoothie recipe in them. So we know that almonds and almond milk are on that list of foods that we want to be consuming to support our bones. So while I did tell you earlier that almond milk is not a great replacement for cow's milk because it doesn't have a great source of protein, it is not a great source of protein, and I typically would recommend soy milk to replace cow's milk. You can get away with almond milk in your smoothies if you are adding in some sort of protein, whether that is protein powder or you are using peanut butter or you're using powdered peanut butter, which is something that I use. Okay, but if you are adding in your own source of protein, then go ahead and add in your almond milk, and don't skip out on the almonds either. Okay. All right. Let's see. Other recipe bundles that are going to be really great to support those bones. The pescatarian recipe bundle. This is to support you with eating fish. Not every recipe in here is fish related, okay? Just so you know. But we know that salmon and tuna are on the list of good foods for healthier bones. So that pescatarian recipe bundle is a good one. The muscle building recipe bundle, which I showed you. Another really great one is going to be the busy lifestyle recipe bundle for people on the move. Love, 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 love this one. Another really great one is the high protein recipe bundle. We have a high protein one. We also have a protein forward recipe bundle. Any of them that are super high in protein, they talk about protein, is great because remember, 50% of your bones is protein. So we want to make sure we're not skimping on the protein at all. And another really great one is the simple, quick, and nutritious recipe bundle. Okay? So for those of you that are writing this down, the anti-inflammatory smoothies, the pescatarian, the muscle building, the busy lifestyle, the high protein, the simple, quick, and nutritious, and I'll even throw in the protein forward recipe bundle. All of those recipe bundles are going to be great supports for your healthy bones. So I've shown you some health guides, like the bone health guide that can support you. I've shown you some recipe bundles that can support you. I've shown you strength training workouts with our slow bar and our strength training fitness guide to help keep those bones nice and strong. And I've shown you our yin yoga. We have tons and tons and tons of yin yoga. So you can unlock the entire library, get your first month for just $11.11. Every month thereafter is $33.33. This on-demand library is your one-stop body, mind, spirit balance stop. One stop. Okay, one stop body, mind, spirit balance shop. Thank you, Mercury retrograde, for letting me be great. All right, so there we have it. Those are the on-demand resources that can support you. For those of you hanging out on TikTok, just visit the link in my bio and you can go to my website. When you first come to the website, you'll see a button right here, only $11.11 for your first month. Boom, bop, shiggly diop. There you go. If you are rocking out with my app, go to the home tab of the app. Right where it says live stream tarot readings, you're going to swipe on that until you see the one for you to get your first month of membership, Lotus Life membership for $11.11. Okay? So, more than 100 hours worth of content in that on-demand library waiting for you to sink your teeth into. Yes? Yes. All right, darling hearts. Make sure that let's actually come back. Let me come back. Let's me come back here. Boop doop doop doo. There we go. All right. We're back. So, the only thing that is left for us to take a look at, my darling, darling, darling hearts. I'm so sorry that I forgot to switch that over. So yes, we went on our field trip to take a look at the helpful resources. And I want to remind you that on Fridays, we do our Q&A session. Okay? So I will be answering questions that you have emailed to me. And so why don't you go ahead and email any questions that you may have, anything that you heard during today's session that may have sparked questions for you, anything you may have heard in our previous sessions, anything that brought up questions for you. Go ahead and email those questions to me. hello@lotuslifewithmc.com. Again, that is hello@lotuslifewithmc.com. And I will answer your questions on Friday. Friday, we do a special segment just for answering your questions, okay? So send them in. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to bite your head off. Closed mouths don't get fed. So if you have questions about any of the resources that I showed you, or any of the things that I shared with you about Tim Waltz, or anything I shared with you about healthy bones or bird flu, or anything from the two previous streams, feel free, okay? And if you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the replay over on YouTube, Twitch. My Twitch replays live for 7 days. You can also visit my website and my app. Okay? All right. And it doesn't cost you anything to watch those replays. Thank you so much for joining today. We talked about some really awesome things. And I'm excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow's show, tomorrow, my darlings. Let's see. Today we met Kamala's VP pick, Tim Waltz. We learned about the current outbreak of bird flu, why you should take it seriously, and how to protect yourself. Okay. We also discussed dietary and lifestyle tips to help your bones stay nice and healthy. And I showed you even more resources in the on-demand library that you can dive into. Remember that you can start your membership for just $11.11 for your first month. Okay? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So browse the library, and if it feels like a good fit for you, go ahead and start your membership. Remember to email those questions to hello@lotuslifewithmc.com. And you can rewatch the episodes in the Lotus Life app and website, or on YouTube or Twitch. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about the COVID uptick. We are going to talk about trusted political news resources and important upcoming events, including some debates and things like that. And some things that we will be talking about as we continue to dance our way toward the election. And we will also be discussing the 4 steps of mindful eating tomorrow. The 4 steps of mindful eating. Thank you so much for vibing out today. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Again, feel free to email any questions that you have to hello@lotuslifewithmc.com. Make sure that you are following me, you have subscribed to me, that you have those notifications turned on, and make sure that if you are liking the vibe and you want to continue vibing out with us, make sure that you join us in the after party, okay? It's called Favorited, link in the bio or link in the description, depending on where you're watching us from. The after party, that's where we go after we finish the show. And we get to be adults, we get to let our hair down, we get to have some battles, meet some new people. It's an all-around really great time, okay? So make sure that you are connected with us, and I will see you for tomorrow's show. Thank you. Yes, everyone, have a wonderful day. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. And remember, next Monday, March, girl, where are you? August 19th, Monday, August 19th. The Lotus Life Exchange moves to 6 a.m. Eastern Time. If you can't join us live, that's okay. Replays will still be available. All right. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for allowing me to pour into you today. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Yes? Yes. All right. Stay safe and amazing. Namaste, my loves.